Minecraft is very open and brings us tons of different possibilities, and that leads some people to come up with some crazy stuff. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 5 crazy Minecraft theories that change everything. Coming in at number 5, the theory that the world in Minecraft is actually a dead sun. This actually comes from a YouTuber by the name of Spumwhack, and although it's scientifically implausible, we'll talk about that a little bit, but it's fiction, I don't want to get too much into that. It's very theatrical and interesting, although it's obviously extremely wild. So, taking the fact that the sun, the moon, and stars are always at the same positions, always the exact distance away from each other, and always moving at the same speed, Spumwhack has some idea as to why. Using this as evidence, he crafted a theory that the world in Minecraft is actually a dead sun, one that the occupants of a planet realized was dying and set off a nuclear bomb on their planet, causing a reaction that made their planet into a sun. They launched off of the planet and onto the dead sun, which was now a solid, brought with them various elements of life, went into cryosleep, and you, the Minecraft person, are among those people, perhaps the last survivor. Like I said, it's quite dramatic, but at the same time, a bit silly. For one, the positions of the sun, moon, and stars are like that because they're most likely just supposed to come up at a certain time and generally use the same art assets all the time. Tonight, we'll use a different art asset for the moon. No, that doesn't happen. Other things that don't happen are the sun turning into a solid if it dies. I mean, maybe, eventually, but not over the course of the time some scientists could figure out they need to head for it, you know, because their planet's dying and all that. Also, a sun's not going to orbit around a big solid, and that's what the sun in the Minecraft world does. But hey, I don't really need to debunk this theory. I just want to give some credit that it's quite creative, actually. When we say changes everything, like, we're talking about everything here. We're talking about, like, the base assumptions of how the universe works. Coming in at number 4, we have a theory that causes you to change your base assumptions a little bit less. I mean, it's not about the world. In fact, it doesn't even really concern the world. It concerns simply Minecraft Steve, or the Minecraft guy, depending on personal preference. But here's the idea. Imagine that instead of just a regular guy out in the world, the Minecraft guy, Minecraft Steve, is actually a boss mob, just like the Wither, the Elder Guardian, or the Ender Dragon. Except for Steve is a much less cool boss mob, walking around in a t-shirt and jeans, when compared to any other. While Steve is dressed as if he has to leave the house on Sunday, the menacing Wither uses its supernatural powers to attack you. Yeah, I think this is a pretty wild one. And that's in no small part due to the fact that aside from the obvious video game things like refilling health and things that the game would be very unfair if didn't exist, he really doesn't have any god powers. Now, the way this fan theory is structured is that Steve is a newly born god, which, I mean, his name is Steve, that's kind of a not cool god name. That's why some of us call him the Minecraft guy. Not a lot cooler, but also maybe a little more mysterious, which kind of works at least. But the whole thing operates on the assertion that the End is a place primarily occupied by the Ender Dragon, the Nether is filled with dead, demons, the like, and that the realm of the normal is Steve's realm. I mean, it involves changing some assertions, but really, none of that isn't true. It's just the idea that Steve's a god changes, because technically, yeah, those realms are that. Newly born god Steve raised his mighty axe that he built with wood and built a house out of doors. Bow, mortals, for you have now borne witness to the most powerful being in the realm. Cower and worship me, Steve. And moving on to number 3, a fan theory says the plot of Minecraft is that Steve is a time traveler. Reddit user BlumenJuge reminds us that there are no civilized structures in the Minecraft world that are occupied by intelligent life. You can find villages and mansions, and they've got supposedly civilized people there, but they look nothing like Steve. All of the other larger, older structures, temples, mines, fortresses, etc., are either filled with mobs or abandoned. The only actual human-like things in this world are zombies. This theory says that this is the implication there is some kind of nuclear apocalypse or zombie apocalypse that happened, and in truth, I think this is a really intriguing theory. Obviously, it's a fan theory, and it doesn't really matter if it's true or not, but positioning Minecraft as this sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland in which these strange people that are not on the same level, nor do they look entirely like humans, and a bunch of animals that kind of seem like they wouldn't really survive out in the wild in a post-apocalyptic world with skeletons and zombies all over the place. Oh, and the giant spiders. In truth, this theory does a lot of things that make all of this very normal. In fact, the only thing I would throw into question is, how did Steve time travel, and why does Steve not remember the time traveling? The theory doesn't really go into this in any way, shape, or form, but I'd like to posit some kind of lab mistake where a part-time janitor, who maybe had to get dressed to come into work on Sunday, accidentally fell into a time travel machine, and one of the bugs is that it erases your memory. It does say there must be some kind of scientific explanation for all of the magic and whatnot, but it doesn't say what, just that it must be scientific. That's kind of where it falls apart. Still, in my opinion, pretty great theory, pretty fun to think about, and, you know, I always kind of love these sort of Land of Ooh type apocalypse worlds. Coming in at number 2, a theory that the Minecraft guy, Steve, has an ultimate goal of defeating the Ender Dragon as revenge for the extinction of mankind. Now, you're the only human being. Everyone else is not a human being. The animals are out there, the villagers are Squidwards or something, and the Endermen are them, whatever those guys are. And it's reasonable to assume that at some point humanity went extinct, being you're a human and you're there. Maybe you were time traveled, maybe you were a survivor that hid underground your entire adolescence, I don't know. But in this theory, the reason there aren't humans is clearly the Ender Dragon. The Ender Dragon, the big dragon that's at the end of the end, here would have had to have something to do with the extinction of mankind. And in theory, you know, that could happen. The only person who can defeat the Ender Dragon happens to be you, and it's after you've made like a path for yourself that involves a lot of crafting things that just flat out don't exist in real life. And I doubt that that's the everyday occurrence for everyone that was in the Minecraft world before the humans disappeared. So yeah, that makes sense. It's quite possible the Ender Dragon somehow got out of the end. I have to imagine the strongholds have something to do with people trying to stop that. And it provides a kind of weirdly simple goal in the open-ended world of Minecraft that you just don't get in any other way, shape, or form in this game. In Minecraft, you can pretty much do what you want. If instead of building a house, you want to just dig a hole at the beginning of the game, you can. In fact, that's what I did. It works really well, actually. If you don't want to kill any enemies, you don't have to. You can, though. What do you want to build? A bunch of complex stuff? Or, hey, do you want to stay very super simple? Really, it's up to you. Minecraft is very much up to you, but you're the only one who can kill the Ender Dragon, and the Ender Dragon is there. So what's the purpose? What's the point? Why would you kill a thing that you have to traverse dimensions for? Well, since Steve the Minecraft guy doesn't really talk to us, maybe it's revenge. Maybe not. I don't know. And finally, coming in at number 1, a theory that the end is actually chronologically the end. It's the idea that when you're traveling to different dimensions, you're actually not. You're traveling back and forth in the future. For instance, the Nether actually happens to be a sort of primordial, prehistoric time, and therefore the end is the end. It's where everything ends. That's all that's left of the world, is these fractured floating platforms and Endermen and apocalyptic dragon monsters. Which is, like, super depressing. Like, when you think about it, nothing that you did in the game mattered. That's where it ended. It's for that reason I think that this probably doesn't really trend near what's true, because they never want to tell you that what you did in the game didn't matter. It always matters more than anything. Still, it's an interesting theory, and honestly, if it was true, it'd be cool. What are some wild theories you've heard of? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and if you like this video, please click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, the subscription. So click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.